good morning, good noon, good evening, wherever time and place you're listening to us from. Straight from the 909, it's Mark, myself, Isaiah, and together, that's Hip Hop. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Today's going to be a very special episode. Today we're covering one of the pioneers of conscious rap. It's actually a collective, and some might consider them the pinnacle of hip hop. Arrested Development emerged in the late 1980s and was founded in Atlanta. The group was spearheaded by Speech, Todd Thomas, a dynamic and socially conscious rapper. Their formation aimed to create music that not only entertained, but also carried powerful messages about social issues. The group is known for their distinctive fusion of hip hop, soul, funk, and even African rhythms. This mix created a unique sound that incorporated live instrumentation, rich vocal harmonies, and thought-provoking lyrics. We're discussing the debut album, 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of ... Released in 1992 by Chrysalis Records and EMI. Runtime is 56 minutes and 13 seconds. From the album, they won 2 Grammys, one for Best New Artist, the other, Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group for the song Tennessee. The album also went 4 times platinum in the US, 2 times platinum in Canada, platinum in the UK and Australia. So this is a very special album. I've never heard this album ever in my life.
That's the beauty of That's Hip Hop is that sometimes we become anew to these albums. Yeah. It becomes new to us. And in this instance, me sharing this album with Isaiah actually became new to him in this.
Right, exactly. And so first time listening through it, I was just vibing, just a cold listen. I like to just let the music hit me. And then the second time I listened through it, I'm intentfully listening to the lyrics and what is he saying. Yeah. And dude, I think this is probably the best piece of music I've ever heard. Like, yeah, dead serious. This is like that good because of the messages that's being said in this. And not only that, but the live band, there's times where they do breakdowns and it's just like, it's some of the best hip hop I've heard. Yeah. So why did you choose this album? And when did you come in contact with it?
So when I was doing my research and trying to at least get in tune with more hip hop back in, I want to say about the early 2000s, you come across, once you get into the conscious rap genre, yeah, you get A Tribe Called Quest, your Gang Stars, your Diggable Planets, but then you start going a little deeper into where it's not really just conscious rap. Now you're looking at alternative rap. And I ended up listening to Arrested Development, and I'm like, I know them from the Tennessee joint because I heard Tennessee a lot. I heard Tennessee a lot when I was growing up. And damn, dude, the album takes you by surprise. It's on the lyric end, I have the truth within expressed outward. And I say that with true sincerity because from the aspect of live instrumentation, from the aspect of the lyricism, it's truth. The group as a whole has a message, and they're a rap group that's getting out of the plagues of what happened in the South. And they're expressing their frustration. They want change in current time. So this album itself is an expression of that. So you get the pain, you get the messages, you get what they want to express. And America felt that so much so, like you mentioned, they became the Best New Artist. And they actually have more than 3 joints that y'all should listen to. We actually had to come to an agreement on just 3 joints.
Yeah, it was very hard to
always.
Choose. Yeah,
but this album's full of life.
Yeah.
It isn't gangster. It isn't conscious. It's alternative, live band, Southern charm.
Yeah.
And without Arrested Development, you don't get the right to expression. Actually, you don't get the framework for expression like you have with your Outcasts, the Nappy Roots, Goody Mob.
Yeah.
You don't get that.
Yeah.
You know, of course, each of those artists have their own unique sound, but I feel that Arrested Development kind of gave the framework for it, and they kill it. Like, you barely think of them as a hip hop group.
Yeah.
But they are.
But they are, though. Yeah. It's pretty cool because, like, not only do they have, like, dancers, singers, they have dancers. They even have, like, this, like, I don't know, the old man of the group. That's kind of like the wise man. What's his name? Papa OJ?
And then they got the percussion. They got percussion. The percussion group as well in there. So when I wanted to pick this album, I actually have like an internal queue of what I want you guys to listen to as a whole.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that I kind of had a feeling that it was either going to be new to either you or Andre, but in this instance that it is new to you, and I'm feeling I've felt those same impressions, dude.
Yeah.
Hearing them, you're just like, you listen to Arrested Development, you feel like there's a genuine hope for change.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because, like, I had
I
had no idea of Arrested Development. For all I knew, it was the show. Like, that was the only Arrested Development that I knew. So when Mark mentioned it, I was like first kind of thrown off. I was like, Arrested Development.
You want us to review the show on That's Hip Hop? Coming up next on That's Netflix.
And little did I know, it's like total opposite from that show is like this group that's just so good. I just love the blend. It's a unique sound to blend all those different styles into one. I mean, you can hear some blues, even some funk, hip hop. You hear
country,
alternative. Yeah, you even hear some country in there with the sound effects of like chickens and stuff in the background and all that junk. And even like it feels electric when you listen to it. It has such good energy. Like, that's one of the things I picked up right away because it's very uplifting. Like, right away, it makes you like kind of like, whoa, okay, what's this? Like, it's like it's entertaining. But then once you like listen in to what he's saying
intently,
it's like really good. Like, Speech is so good at crafting his lyrics. And this is so crazy, like that I've never heard of this guy. It's a crime, to be honest, because I was blown away at the way he crafted these songs. And the thing that's special with this group is Speech is going to give you those thought-provoking lyrics. And then the singers, when they sing the hook or the chorus, it like brings it all together. And then you got the background instrumentation that's going on with Headliner as the DJ, like scribbling all over it. It's just like a crazy blend of just such good music. There's early remnants here of the conscious rap. Like, I can see how this album could be so influential to MCs such as Common or Talib or Mos. Like, I can see this album being, I don't know if it is or not to them, but for me, I feel like if I was around during that time, rapping, I feel like, and I heard these guys, I know it would move me,
Yes.
The crazy thing is that it's around the time of gangsta rap.
Yep.
That's the gangsta rap movement. That's the Dr. Dre movement. And what's also funny about that is, that gangsta rap actually had the rise. where it should have been this should have been the rise of hip hop, but instead it was gangster rap. No. I mean, I'm not trying to trash gangster rap or anything, but when you have something so authentic, so golden as this, that message, overshadowed by gangster rap, it's kind of like puzzling a little bit.
It's almost as if it was deliberate. Like if gangster rap was perpetuated by someone beyond
Yeah.
That's an episode on its own.
We should have that X-Files sound effect here.
I truly believe what you're saying, and I wish that message was on the forefront in hip hop versus the gangster rap movement.
But what then why do you think it didn't have its movement then? Do you think
I'm telling you right now, it was perpetuated by outside sources beyond music. Okay. I firmly believe that. Now, there is a lot of evidence to support it, and we're not going to get into it right now. But at the surface level, you would want this uplifting, positive music to be what is hip hop.
Or at least inspire more of a movement, more others to kind of do it. Yeah. But I guess, maybe it's kind of one of those pendulum things, like, yin yang things. Like you have one force coming, you need to have the other. Maybe
true. But we can also agree that one was more prominent than the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
True.
You wish stuff like this would and put a lot more emphasis into the conscious movement. And then there's going to be people in the comments before they even listen to the rest of this. Yeah. Yes, there is conscious albums that do predate this. You have two albums from A Tribe Called Quest that predate this. You have a lot of other albums that do predate this that are labeled as conscious.
Yeah, true.
So we all understand that this release, this 93 release, deals with conscious rap, but in its own signature. And I don't even like calling it conscious rap because it's a matter of it's alternative rap music because of how many other genres it blends. It's not A Tribe Called Quest because A Tribe Called Quest is conscious, but they don't have the live instrumentation. They don't have all these
it's more grounded to hip hop.
Yeah.
Than it is anything else.
It's going to be an honor breaking down this album because of how impactful it is to so many groups, South, North, East, West. It's
powerful messages about, about the culture, of African American culture, messages about nature, messages about just being a mom, messages about the homeless. There's messages about what else? About teaching someone how to fish rather than just giving them a fish.
Yes.
Messages about love and the track You. There's messages. Man, I'm already listed like at least 6 or 7 like dope messages. That
isn't it crazy to have all that within one album?
That is crazy. That is crazy. Yeah.
Plus, you have like a state anthem.
Right.
Yeah, I could just imagine state playing anthem. Tennessee in Tennessee, and people are just
like there's a guy.
It's their Sweet Home Alabama.
Right. Because speech is. It comes from such a genuine place too. I know we'll talk about that track.
Yeah.
It comes from such a genuine place, and it's remarkable how, a song that he wrote that was something near and dear personal to him blew up, became like number one, and stuff like that, which is pretty crazy. So this album, if you guys haven't listened to it like me, it's a crime that you haven't, so you should check it out and listen to it. Let's talk about the cover of the album. What are your thoughts first going into it?
I like how the group itself is always going to pay homage to their roots, to where they're at, to the South, to the South and all the eccentric clothing that they have too. With African inspired, with the African inspired wardrobe.
And they're in touch with God. They're in touch with Mother Nature. They're in touch. You can see they're free.
There's nothing of technological, there's nothing that's going to date it technologically inside usually if it's a hip hop album, you're going to have your microphone. You're going to have something in relation to where you're
hip-hop,
at. And in this instance, we have Arrested Development paying homage to the South, paying homage to this great valley that they're in by a tree.
Right.
Within that tree are the roots of a great tree.
You could you can take that metaphorically into family tree, into Mother Nature. People always say, "What are the trees telling us?" Things like that.
When I'm seeing this, it's like get a shot of us by the tree.
Right.
Had to have been said.
Right.
That frame right there being right there placed before the font and above it, listing the group name.
Right. Also the girl in the back, she has the umbrella, which is like for the rain. So it's, you know, even though it's not raining there, but it's telling you about nature and the rain, and they have a track about that as well in there.
Yeah.
There's dancing going on. It looks like there's him being introspective. One in the background is kind of looking to the sky, being introspective. Then you got speech, you know, like he's like symbolizing the cross almost.
Yeah. It's so alternative that looking at this, you won't even think about it as a hip hop or rap album.
You wouldn't see it as that. The title, what do you think about the title? 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of, what does that mean?
I couldn't tell you, man. I'm thinking a duration of some importance to speech.
Yeah.
You know, maybe how long it took to do the album, how long, you know, in between something.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, because that's very particular.
Right.
Extremely particular.
Yeah.
It's a long album title, and you can be at the mercy of it. Like I remember Alanis Morissette had this long album title that literally like overshadowed the fact that she had songs on the album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we have Arrested Development presents 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of.
I like that. I like how he's conscious even about the time that, you know, that we're in, the period of time that we're in this life of, and that could be whoever, I guess, really.
Long titles like that really don't exist in hip hop. Like the other album title that I know off the jump that's that long is A Tribe Called Quest's first album. It's People's Instinctive Travels in the Passive Rhythm.
Or what about, I think of Jedi Mind Trick's first album. It was like some long old term. That one was crazy too. Dope album cover. But you're right. Looking at it right from the jump, like you're not going to think that's a hip hop album.
Not at all. Not at all.
You know, but that's what's kind of dope though. That's dope because it's really not just like you said, it's not a hip hop album. It's a alternative hip hop album.
Yeah.
To correctly categorize that, but it's so influential, man. To me, even like I'm listening to that, I'm like, man, that'd be so dope to have like a band live perform stuff, you know. And
look how the successful, you know, bands like that ended up going and being successful. The Roots,
and it changes exactly, and it changes the dynamic too, because you can do different things with the band in a rap song that you really can't, you know, on just a beat. I mean, I guess you can, but it's doing on instruments though. It's more live, dude. Like it's
everyone has to be on. Everyone has to know the cues. It's like having, you know, it's like being a part of a rock band,
right?
You know, taking into the guise of actually rap and hip hop,
right?
The beats are on the spot. Everyone has to be on point. Yeah. Not that you're just, you know, you're not just doing the drums, hitting the bass and doing all that. No, like the beat has to come, and then the instrumentations for the chorus on that beat. So there's actually a lot more people behind the scenes getting it done.
More like a symphony now.
Then you got people singing in the background.
Yeah, doing harmonies. There's a lot to it.
A whole group behind it, man.
Yeah. It's pretty dope. I mean, I think it's such a powerful album. Okay, so we got 3 tracks that we chose.
Yes.
The first one's going to be Everyday People.
Yeah.
Second one is Mr. Wendell. Mark was kind of making fun with that because we have a teacher.
People every day.
Sorry, excuse me. People every day. Second one's Mr. Wendell, but I was saying because we had a teacher named Mr. Yindle, so it's very similar. It's like Mr. Yindle, and plus I made a song about it.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't overshadow that fact, my friend. He actually had a song with Mr.
about
Yindle.
Our teacher, yeah. Which was risky. Like I could have, you know, who knows? He maybe took that the wrong way. Could have.
He probably listens to it still.
Listens to it. So the third one we have is Tennessee.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got 3 tracks there. Everyday People Every Day, Mr. Wendell, and Tennessee. Yeah. Now, I want to talk about really quick before we get into those songs. The intro is great. The intro is great. The beginning starts off with like some scratches and some just this high, fast funk beat. But there's also still a dope message there because the song's titled "Man's final frontier. And they're saying that the frontier isn't about going up to space. The frontier is about these tracks and the songs that they're writing, that it's uncharted territory, like God is guiding them to write these songs.
Yeah.
Such a powerful message, because they're talking about the exploration of God rather than space, and God within. I mean, who's talking about that anymore? So I thought right away, to set the tone, they're already exploring the aspect of God and looking within, and it's already thought provoking just from the jump.
Yeah.
And that's not even a rap verse. That's just an ad lib from one of the members.
And to be so internally sound with yourself.
Yeah.
To even illustrate a point like that on an album.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can affect your reputation if you seem unauthentic to it.
Right.
That whole track comes from someone who is sound within themselves enough to present the idea that, hey, look, we could look outside to space, but we have to look inside for God within.
Yeah.
And when we do that, everything else in the exterior of our life somehow comes into place. It's funny how that works sometimes.
And it's crazy too, because everything feels ad-libbed. Like, even when they come off like that, it feels ad-libbed. It doesn't feel planned. And I don't know if it was or not.
Yeah, and you can hear these tracks 100 times over, and you're going to hear a new sound somewhere.
Exactly. And I love on that first track too, they also changed up the beats a little bit, and they showed you one like hip hop more styled beat and more funky. Like, they switch it up on you too, right from the get-go. The second track was also dope. This is my honorable mentions. The second track, Mama's Always on Stage, I thought was also, controversial today, to write a song like that. But the message is loud and clear on that one, about like a mom basically contemplating abortion, and he's saying, no, don't have it. Like, we're going to support you as a community. Yeah. We're going to support this and help. And I love the fact that he was talking about accountability as a man, as an African-American, like, just and not giving up on the kid.
Yeah.
And making it happen, and talking about how a mother is basically always having to be on. And that's why I think that they're talking about on the stage, Mama's always on the stage.
Yeah.
Because they always have to be.
She ain't taking no breaks.
Yeah. So I thought that message was pretty dope. And I don't know. It's so unique nowadays to hear a message like that. So I thought it was pretty dope, man.
Yeah. There's a lot to take with that. There's a lot to take with that song, because you think about the life that you were given from your mother.
Yeah.
And listening to the song, you'll have several examples inside yourself where you know that, hey man, my mom put it down.
Yeah.
Like she's I'm 35 years old. She's always on the clock for me, like she's still always going to be worried about her son and her sons.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, Mom was always on the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sick one. So we're going into People Every Day.
Yes.
Starts with speech. He's showing off his storytelling on this track.
Correct.
He does a very good job of storytelling. He's very good at being introspective in his verses. I don't know as far as like who I could compare him to as an MC. His style though feels simple, although I know it's not simple. Like, what he's doing is tricky. Like, he's rhyming fast on some of these tracks, very fast. Because some of these beats are like, like
it's really almost cool. Like Common. It's almost like as Common would do, but slower paced.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what every time I hear a speech, I'm hearing that. Because Common's always in a spot where he's not too fast, but you could tell the instances where he's able to like pick it up, but the lyricism is all way up here.
Yeah.
With speech, it's slowed down, laid back, but the lyricism's still present, not as much as a Common per se, but there's still a strong message being presented.
Yeah.
So where people may say that the lyricism lacks, granted, this type of group doesn't thrive on that. This group is thriving, and at this point in time of this album, this group is thriving on the band overall and the message within the song.
Yeah. I had some feelings of like when he raps fast, like it's almost at the speed of Das EFX. Mm-hmm. He's not doing what Das EFX is doing, but it's almost at the speed of what they could do. Like, because there are some beats on here that are too quick for my liking, even to try to rap on something like that. Yeah. And this dude ice skates on it like very easily. And so, I think the most important aspect I take away from Speech is that emphasis on the message. Yeah. I mean, I've never seen a rapper so solid on the message.
Yeah. Even if we're going to take another lens to it, it's rare that you get Southern hip hop artists that are this thought provoking.
Yeah.
Around this time.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Okay.
So this beat's really relaxed. It's a play on the everyday people. The chorus gets into the play of everyday people from the song from the group Sly and the Family Stone.
Now, I was telling Mark, this is one of those memorable songs because I remember this in commercials.
Yeah.
And I thought it was this exact song that they had in the commercial, but Mark was telling me, no, it was actually another song, right?
So I don't know if my Mandela effect's playing with me right now.
Yeah.
But
the Mandela effect.
I want to recall 2 times where they used the Sly and the Family Stone joint, and they actually used the Arrested Development version of Everyday People.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm of People Every Day, so that's where we're gonna.
So this was in because I remember from a car commercial. You said it was from like a
So
Ford.
Yes. So it got to be from the Ford commercial.
The commercial was like a rock.
Yeah, so that came from Bob Seger.
Okay.
But there's another, the Everyday People song is another car commercial jingle.
Everyday people.
Yeah. With Speech, in this song, it's very relaxed. It's akin to the Sly and the Family Stone cover. Just chill, relax, letting you know that, hey, look, we're people just like you. We deal with the same problems in and out of our community. It's see, I was resting at the park, minding my own business as I kick up the trouble tone. So carrying on the bar's idea, minding my own stops. Business as I kick up the trouble tone.
Minding my own business. Yeah.
On my radio, tape player box, right? Just loud enough so folks could hear it's hype. See, out of nowhere comes this woman I'm dating. Investigation. Maybe she was demonstrating. But
what do you get out of that? Investigating, maybe she was demonstrating. I was trying to picture that in my mind, but I didn't know what he meant by that. Investigation, maybe she was
curious, coming around. Yeah. I don't want, there's nothing that leads me to believe that she was...
basically, she comes around,
investigation, maybe she was demonstrating. She was trying to show that she, is... concerned for the gentleman in the sense of hey, I care enough for you that I want to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because he actually says, when he says the next bar, but nevertheless I was pleased.
Yeah.
It's the idea that, hey, look, I know you're doing it like this. Anyway, I'm still pleased that you're here.
Yeah.
It's like maybe there's a little frustration of hey, what are you doing? You're unannounced,
Maybe she pulled up unannounced or something. Yeah.
But nevertheless, I was pleased.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So he wasn't expecting her probably to show up.
Yeah.
She does, almost like she's investigating where he's at or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But nevertheless, I was pleased. My day was going great and my soul was at ease until a group of brothers started bugging out, drinking the 40 ounce, going the route, disrespecting my black queen, holding the crotches and being obscene.
Man, look how descriptive this guy is.
Yeah.
Until a group of brothers started bugging out, drinking 40 ounce.
I love that. Bugging out, drinking the 40 ounce.
Man. And then, disrespecting my black queen, holding their crotches and being obscene. The imagery of all of that.
And then it plays into the term Southern gentleman.
Yeah.
Doing that in front of a chick.
Yeah.
If you have to get called out on that.
Right.
Because you know better.
Right.
You know better than not
you can
tackle
totally see this happening as well.
Yeah.
You know, some parks are sometimes hangout spots for, you know, for these gangs and stuff like that. So you could totally picture something like this really going down too.
At first, I ignored them because, see, I know they're tight. They got drunk and got guns, and they want to fight.
Yeah, just looking for trouble.
And they see a young couple having a time, that's good. And their egos want to test a brother's manhood.
Yeah, because that's what they just want to.
They want to. They're trying you.
Trying you.
They're trying you, and it's what you have. It's like, I'll say it like this: I'm out with a date.
Yeah,
and you could tell a guy's going to be able to tell when guys around him are like, you know, peacocking,
right,
showing off for the fact of like, hey, you're with him, but look at me. Mm-hmm. This is kind of like this situation here, to where these guys are being obscene because they're trying to get not the attention of the guy. They're trying to get him irate, but they're trying to get the attention of his mate, of his girl.
Right.
Right. They want to test the brother's manhood. So they came to test speech because of my hairdo. And around this time, I believe he has dreadlocks. He also has a song where he mentions the deep roots of the dreadlocks too.
That's right.
And the loud, bright colors that I wear. See the album cover.
Yeah. Again, very descriptive. Again, hairdo, colors he's wearing. Like the imagery is here is like he's just building and building.
I was a target because I'm a fashion misfit, and the outfit that I'm wearing, brothers dissing it. So I'm going with it.
Look how he understands the situation so well. He knows exactly why they're targeting him. He knows it's what he's wearing. He's self-reflective. Like he knows it's his hair. He already knows the whole situation before it's even happening.
Well, I stay calm and pray that leave me be because they're squeezing parts of my date's anatomy. Oh, wow.
That's crazy. Just squeezing her butt.
So that's a great example of saying something general.
Exactly.
But spinning it to the effect
like he didn't say they're squeezing her ass or nothing. Like parts of her anatomy.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it because you fit the previous bar before.
Yeah.
And you keep it in rhythm. Leave me be, anatomy.
And you kind of already know what he's suggesting.
Yeah.
You know?
But they're squeezing parts of my date's anatomy.
Yeah.
Why, Lord, do brothers have to drill me? Because if I start to hit this man, he'll have to kill me. See?
He already knows, like he's a chess player too, man. He knows the next move. He knows if I do this, they're going to do that.
Everyday people dealing with everyday problems.
That chorus. Now, that's what I wanted to mention here is that chorus is what really honed this in. The message.
Reels you into the example, the verse gets reeled into the chorus.
Right. Because otherwise it's a random story. It's a random story about him at the park and some guys want to mess with him. Random story. You know, you don't know what the message is. Okay, yeah, you shouldn't do that. But this chorus really tells it all. Everyday people. I'm just a guy, man. Like, what's your problem? You know, like that message is so strong, so minimal, but strong. I think that's another gift that they got because they have all these singers that are singing beautifully, the harmonies and all that mixed with this. Yeah.
I told please let us pass, friend. I said, please, because I don't like killing Africans, but he wouldn't stop and I ain't Ice Cube, but I had to take the brother out for being rude.
Ooh, I like that line.
I said before, I was mad by then. I took 3 or 4 cops pulled me off of him, but that's the story, y'all, of a black man acting like and get stomped by an African.
Ooh.
So it's a classist comment when he says, "Yo, the guy's acting like and he gets stomped by an African."
Right.
So it's the detachment of your roots. It's the detachments. It's actually speech taking this gentleman to the slave insult.
Right.
Down to the slave insult, and not going to where he should be identified as an African American, or even an African at whole too as well.
And just like talking to his own people, like that message is, this verse is even stronger, I feel like, than the first verse, and it's shorter, but it's stronger. I think because of that chorus, because now after coming off of that chorus, it's like he goes even deeper to the roots and starts talking about, his own kind and what are we doing here? Like it goes even more in. So this song is very powerful.
The moral, and then after the chorus, the moral of the story is,
I like how he just gives it to you straight. Like if you didn't get it, basically it's this: don't you gotta look where you're stepping.
Yeah, who you stepping to, because you might get killed or shot, and it's not worth it. Africans need to be loving each other and unite. This reminds me of the times where Rod Serling would circle back at the end of the Twilight Zone episode.
Exactly. Yes.
And after the whole episode's done, he'll come back with the suit and just tell you
the moral of the story.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. Either he shows up or it fades out to his voice.
That's dope. That's a dope reference. Yeah. Peace to Rod Serling too. Another genius, man. Classic series that he made. I don't think could ever be touched.
Peace again. To our upcoming podcast. That's Twilight Zone.
Yeah, the one that never came to be, but we wanted to do.
Yeah. So then we actually have. Let's go to
Mr. Yindle.
Yeah, track number 5 is Mr. Yindle.
Mr. Wendell, you mean?
Yeah.
Mr. Wendell.
Yeah, Mr. Wendell. So
and this one, he's storytelling again, and these stories. It sounds like some of them might be true, because in this case, he's talking about a homeless that's name's Wendell. Yeah, and I don't know if he actually went out there and interacted with this person or not, or where he got this name from. It sounds to me like it's true. I don't know if it is, but it sounds very true.
We don't really have a lot of songs about the homeless. Like I know 2 songs that are about the homeless. It's Mr. Wendell and then She's Homeless, the la-da-dee, la-da-da,
okay.
Like for Crystal Waters.
But what about like a hip hop song though about the homeless?
They barely talk about them. They call them bums. They call them, the only time I hear people talk about the homeless in hip hop music is the negative connotation of it. Got a bum asking me for money.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Is there a song out there that is talking about homeless?
Yes, please enlighten us in the comment section.
For reals, because I don't know. That'd be pretty dope.
Because I'm that's the only ones that 2 to come to mind,
Here, have a dollar. Again, the speed 2 is, I believe, still kind of like a slower type beat.
Yes.
That is rapping to, because this flow here is a little bit slower.
And even despite the fact that this is a separate track.
Yeah.
I kind of want to think that people every day and into the course of everyday people.
Yeah.
Mr. Wendell's still everyday people.
Right. Correct.
Correct.
That's a good point to make. Like it's blending in to the next track even.
It's like, I don't know whether or not you like set tracks early like that to set a precedent for the whole song. Usually if it's a deliberate theme on the album, like your Kendrick Lamar albums.
Right.
But this is kind of more or less like us diving into these lyrics and realizing, hey, look, like this looks like another, these verses within Mr. Wendell as we read them are going to, they could have worked as another verse within, another condensed version of verse within people every day.
That's a good point to make. Yeah, that's a really good point to make. Here, have a dollar. In fact, no, brother, man, here, have 2. $2 means a snack for me, but it means a big deal to you. Be strong, serve God only. Know that if you do, beautiful heaven awaits. That's the poem I wrote for the first time. I saw a man with no clothes, no money, no plate. Mr. Wendell, that's his name. No one ever knew his name because he's a no one. Never thought twice about spending on an old bum until I had a chance to really get to know one. Now that I know him, to give him money isn't charity. He gives me some knowledge. I buy him some shoes. And to think, blacks spend all the money on big colleagues.
Oh, no, colleges.
Oh, colleges, excuse me. Still most of y'all out here confused. Go ahead, Mr. Wendell. Then the hook comes in. Mr. Wendell, the hook is Mr. Wendell's name.
Mr. Wendell.
Verse 2, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, Mr. Wendell has freedom, a free that you and I think is dumb. Free to be without the worries of a quick-to-diss society. For Mr. Wendell's a bum. His only worries are sickness and the occasional harassment by the police and the chase. So going with the societal issues that the homeless have to deal with, granted, a lot of them are placed in particular situations where it's like, hey, look, these guys are, intellectually sound. Some of them, are a part of this, the other side of it.
Right.
But,
and the fact that he touches on the freedom part of it too is pretty like interesting to note. Like, you know, they actually have a freedom. It's a different kind than you and I will know, but it's, you know, and then he goes kind of into that.
His only worries are sickness. So it even, to even think of just being sick. Yeah. So to a bum, it's a lot because you're exposed to the elements more than we would be.
Yeah,
you're exposed to, you know, the plight of society outside.
Right.
You sleeping outside in the, you know, on a cold bench.
Sickness could be death at that point. Because you know, if you don't take proper medication or you can't afford it or something like that.
Yeah, you're homeless. You're asleep at a park bench.
Right.
And you get bit by this, you know, by a raccoon. You get bit by a dog, a rabid dog. Are you going to get the health care in time?
Right.
You know, this is the many layers within the, you know, being
homeless,
sick.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you and me look to sickness as, just pop a couple, you know, Advil this, Robitussin that.
Yeah.
They don't have that simplistic access.
Right.
And, you know, playing on to the point of an occasional harassment by the police in their chase.
Right.
So
how they're getting abused by police.
Alluding to that they're just arresting him just cause.
Well, you know, and especially look how this resonates even to today's time. And we're seeing homeless in California like way more than usual in LA, in San Francisco. San Francisco is really bad. And then, you know, the recent story is like when some leaders were coming down, all of a sudden they just cleaned the streets overnight, like that.
Yeah. It's funny how they were able to get a task force that quick.
Yeah. To move all these homeless, and where do you move them to? Like they just overnight did it, but then they said they couldn't like help before. So it's crazy because this song will always resonate. I believe that no matter what period in the future we're in, homelessness will always still exist, Sally. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm, you know, in the way beyond the future it doesn't. But I'm just saying, like, I think this is one of those things that will always exist, and this song will still resonate.
Homelessness will always exist, and there's always going to be a Mr. Wendell.
Yeah.
You know, there's always going to be that guy. There's always going to be one of those homeless gentlemen that just
could be Mr. Yindle. Mr. Yindle could be.
Could be Mr. Yindle. You got to check if he's still teaching.
Teachers don't get paid much anymore.
No, definitely not. But we also understand that, you know, the Mr. Wendells of the homeless society are like deep, thought-provoking, intellectual men.
Yeah,
have probably gotten the bad luck of the draw in some
and
instances.
Still the important point that he's talking about here that you mentioned too is that they're human, and we see them as uncivilized, or we see them as not human.
Yeah,
which is sad, but that's a big point.
The uncivilized, we call them. But I just saw him eat off the food we waste. Civilization. Are we really civilized? Yes or no? Who are we to judge?
Look at these deep ass questions, though.
And right in that bar, he's putting up putting up Wendell to level ground with us. He's like, who are we to judge?
Right.
Are we not civilized? Who's civilized?
Right.
You know, who are we to judge when thousands of innocent men could be brutally enslaved and killed over a racist grudge? Really
quick. That can easily happen.
Mr. Wendell has tried to warn us about our ways, but we don't hear him talk. It is his fault. Is it his fault when we've gone too far?
And see, I could just picture the city, you know, people walking by homeless, you know, not even giving them a glare.
Yeah, because they get a bad rep now.
Right,
like it sucks, but they a lot of them get a bad rep now.
Right.
Is it his fault when we've gone too far? And we got too far because on him we walk. On him we walk. We are literally walking over Mr. Wendell in speech's sense here. And we're not really breaking down the lyrics in this portion of Mr. Wendell because there's not a lot of, it's more free poetry at this point.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is the particular moment where the lyricism takes a back seat to the story, to the message. We have, and we've got too far because on him we walk. Mr. Wendell, a man, a human in flesh, but this is the killer, but not by law.
Yeah.
I feed your dignity to stand with pride. Realize that all in all, you stand tall, Mr. Wendell. Lord, Mr. Wendell.
Yeah.
So
what's
putting him up high on a pedestal. which you should with every person, like in terms of every person deserves a chance. You know, this rubs, you know, this kind of goes with me against the grain, because you know how I look at, how I look at the grind of, I'm not gonna go on my soapbox here, but the plight of a man, it's tough. It's a tough battle. So listening to Mr. Wendell, it's like I'm in against the grain of like the unity of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But speech takes it to a level where I understand, like, hey, dude, like,
and I think the thing is, Mark, too, is like we have to understand, like, people will have their hardships, Yeah. I mean, they're not maybe as fortunate as maybe you and I are in certain degrees. Like, you have awesome family that supports you and me as well, but not everybody does. And so coming off of that, some people make it, which is an awesome story to tell, an underdog story. And then some people don't. And I wonder what their story is sometimes, because like what leads to a person to end up eventually at that point.
I remember watching this documentary about the homeless. Like apparently there's like this area where people that are homeless by car are able to park for the night, for a safe spot to sleep.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves that.
Right.
This guy was saying that, hey, I was 6-figure salary, this, all that. 2008 happens, takes a dump on his finances. Ooh. Wife leaves him, just like combo, like just picture Mike Tyson is just financial blows, like, and he got it, but all he was left with was his car, and he's like, dude, I try to make stuff work, but he's in a position where he has to pay the debts.
Yeah,
he has to keep with a regular job just to keep paying these debts. And it's like the lifestyle to what he wanted to do to his debts weren't computing at all.
Right.
So each journey to this is different. Each journey for each Mr. Wendell is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it makes you think this song at its core, going back to the song as a whole, it's thought provoking.
Yeah.
It's thought provoking, and it sounds catchy.
Yeah. And
but then when you listen to it,
this is his single. This is one of the singles. Imagine like this is his single.
For a group to in unison decide that this song is going to be the single out of the album is going to be, it's a stand against something.
Yeah.
It's saying, look, we all know Tennessee's a great song, but I want Mr. Wendell on this, like I want that as a single as well. Press its own, because as a single, it gets its own CD, it gets its own disc cover, own album art, all that. They wanted to do that. They wanted to. It's about getting the idea out.
Yeah, and powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. Powerful. And I hate to get too like mushy and too positive. I don't want it to be like we're just like hyping it as super positive, like. It's not only positive, but it's like it's lyrically sound. It's musically sound. It's structured like very well. Like
I hope
it's not just the positivity aspect, but there's other factors, and the positivity thing is just the cherry on top. Because whenever there's a dope message like that, for me personally, I think that's even more important than the lyricism. Even
if there's people in the comments. For you for the first time listeners to this album, please give us your honest feedback on it. We want to get engaged with the community of That's Hip Hop, and to see what you guys think, because we do put a genuine thought process on deciding these albums, and we really feel that, hey, look, like the albums that I put out personally, my MO, like I mentioned earlier in the show, is to make sure that you and Andre, if that's going to be the first time you listen to it, I want to be here for
that's cool.
Like you always want to be there with the homie that, like, what you haven't seen. Like, look, when I told you about my homie that didn't see it, when you don't see Gladiator for the first time, you don't see Terminator 2, you want to see it with your homie.
Yeah, just to get that first reaction.
Yeah, because you get to relive it again, dude. Right. You got to relive it again. So I would want that type of engagement with the audience there.
Yeah.
In that aspect, because that gets exciting.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
Yeah, and sometimes album? they know some things that like I would have not known, or so that is also helpful too.
Now let's get to the nitty gritty. The third track.
Yeah. The third track we got is Tennessee.
Yeah. Now, before we even get into the lyrics, good God, this song is, it just